Have you ever noticed how one small touch can change everything? How his breath shifts, how the room suddenly feels heavier, slower, as if time itself starts listening to the rhythm between you. It isn't about being perfect. It isn't about knowing a secret technique that no one else has. It's about something deeper, something most women forget in a world obsessed with doing instead of feeling. Because real attraction doesn't start in your hands, it starts in your energy, in the quiet confidence that hums beneath your skin when you decide to be fully present with him. You see, when a woman touches with true presence, not performing, not proving, but simply being, a man feels it in a way he can't explain. His body might interpret it as desire, but what's really happening runs much deeper. He's feeling seen, he's feeling chosen, and that's what makes the moment unforgettable. So tonight isn't about learning to touch him better. It's about learning to let your energy do the speaking, to communicate what words never could, because every brush of your fingertips, every pause, every moment you let silence linger builds a current between you. And in that current, he feels something he can't name, something he'll keep coming back to again and again. This is where the art begins. It's where touch stops being mechanical and becomes magnetic. In this video, you'll discover how to use that energy, the one already within you, to reach him in ways that no one else ever has. We'll explore the psychology of pace, presence, and intention, and how a single simple touch can make him feel you long after you've let go. So take a breath, slow down, and let's begin the art of making him feel for you deeply. TR1, the secret language of touch. Why touch feels deeper than words sometimes. The quietest gestures speak the loudest. A brush of your hand against his arm, a slow touch across his back when you walk past him. No words, yet something shifts in the air between you. Touch has always been our first language. Before we learn to speak, we reach, we hold, we connect. And somewhere along the way, between the routines, responsibilities, and screens, that instinctive language gets quieter. For many women, touch starts to feel like a habit instead of an expression. A hello, a goodbye, a routine kiss. But real touch, intentional touch, is far more than contact. It's a conversation that happens without words, where emotion is felt, not explained. Every human body carries emotional memory. When someone touches you with calm, centered energy, your nervous system softens. It remembers safety. When someone touches you with presence, your heartbeat steadies. It remembers being seen. That's why the most powerful moments often aren't about passion or technique, but presence. A touch delivered with full awareness tells your partner, I'm here. I feel you. You matter. When we forget that, we start to feel disconnected, even in the arms of someone we love. We start to think connection requires grand gestures, big words, or flawless performance. But in truth, it begins with the simplest thing, touch that carries emotion behind it. In this video, you'll rediscover that lost language, the secret dialogue between energy, emotion, and movement. Because once you understand how to speak through touch, words will never feel enough again. The hidden energy men respond. Here's something few people talk about. Men don't just respond to the body, they respond to energy. You can do the exact same gesture, the same touch, the same movement, but when your energy changes, everything feels different to him. Men are incredibly sensitive to what lies beneath the surface. They might not consciously explain it, but they can feel whether a woman's touch carries warmth, tension, love, or hesitation. If you touch him while thinking, I hope he likes this, he feels the nervousness. If you touch him while thinking, I want to connect, he feels the openness. Energy doesn't lie. That's what creates the magnetic difference between a touch that feels empty and one that feels unforgettable. Presence is the bridge between your mind and your body. When you're fully there, grounded, breathing, relaxed, your energy becomes charged with confidence. And that's what he instinctively responds to. It's not performance. It's transmission. Think of it as emotional electricity. When your attention and tension and softness align, your touch communicates without effort. He doesn't just feel your skin, he feels your emotion. Most women have been conditioned to believe men are only physical creatures. But the truth is, men crave emotional resonance. They want to feel the woman behind the touch. When you bring intention, love, curiosity, confidence into your touch, it doesn't just stimulate him, it grounds him. It makes him feel safe, desired, and connected in ways he rarely experiences. And that's the magic of feminine energy, the ability to communicate feeling through presence. When he feels that energy, he relaxes, his guard drops, his body trusts yours. That's not seduction, that's emotional alignment. So before you ever reach for him, take a breath. Let your energy settle into calm confidence. because that's what he'll remember, not what you did, but how it felt to be touched by you. The feminine edge, feeling before doing. Many women approach intimacy like a performance. They wonder, am I doing this right? But the truth is, the most unforgettable moments are never done right. They're felt right. The feminine edge isn't about learning more techniques. It's about deepening your ability to feel, to slow down enough that every movement comes from presence, not pressure. When you shift from doing a feeling, everything changes. Your gestures soften. Your eyes connect longer. Your breathing synchronizes with his without even trying. You stop performing and start embodying. That's the difference between trying to please and allowing connection. And men can sense that instantly, because real magnetism isn't about perfection. It's about authenticity. It's when you stop thinking about what he wants and start connecting to what you feel. When you let your natural rhythm guide you, your body becomes expressive without effort. That's your feminine power, being able to transmit emotion through presence, not performance. Remember, men crave emotion more than technique. They crave that calm confidence that says, I know who I am and I'm not afraid to be felt. So tonight, before you think about how to touch him, tune into yourself. What do you feel in this moment? Warmth, curiosity, love, excitement. That emotion is your guide. When you lead with feeling, your touch becomes art. Every gesture tells a story. Every pause holds emotion. And when you move from that place, he'll feel something he can't explain. A depth, a pulse, a sense of being truly seen. That's what it means to make him feel you deeply. Shishaptiatui, confidence you can feel the moment before you touch. Confidence doesn't start with the first touch. It starts a moment before that quiet inhale. That pause where you decide, I'm safe in my body, I'm allowed to be felt. Every woman knows that moment. The tiny flicker of doubt before connection. Will this feel right? Will I do too much? Not enough. But what you may not realize is confidence isn't something you perform. It's something you allow. When you choose to slow down, when you breathe before you move, when you feel your heartbeat steady, that's confidence taking shape. It's energy settling into the body. Men can feel that shift. Before you say a word, before your hands even move, he senses whether your energy is grounded or scattered. He feels the quiet authority in your calm. Confidence isn't loud, it's felt. It's the difference between trying to be sexy and knowing you already are, because when a woman feels at home in her body, her energy speaks before she does. Her presence says, I'm not rushing, I'm not proving, I'm here fully. That's what makes every movement magnetic. The moment before you touch him isn't about what happens next. It's about the decision to be present, to feel, to own your space. Confidence lives in that pause. The breath that says, I belong here. When you master that energy, everything after becomes effortless. How presence amplifies desire. Presence is the secret ingredient that turns ordinary touch into emotional electricity. Think about the last time someone looked at you, really looked, and you felt seen. That same energy exists in touch. Most people move too fast, driven by nerves or habit. But presence slows everything down. It magnifies sensation. It makes even the smallest gesture feel charged. When you bring your full attention into your body, something powerful happens. Your awareness expands. You start to notice subtle reactions, the rise of breath, the rhythm of your own heartbeat, the warmth of connection. Presence isn't about doing more. It's about feeling more. It's not about touch. It's about tuning in. That's why the most powerful moments of intimacy often feel like time is standing still, because presence collapses time. Every second becomes a universe. Every movement feels intentional. Men respond to that more than they ever will to perfection, because when you're present, your energy becomes steady, grounding. It tells his body you can let go. That calm energy is rare and addictive. It's what creates that magnetic tension where both of you are tuned to the same frequency. To practice presence, start small. When you reach out, do it slowly. Feel the texture, the warmth, the energy beneath your fingertips. Let your awareness follow the motion, not to control it, but to listen. Presence is listening without words. It's what allows emotion to flow naturally through your touch. No forcing, no pretending. When your mind stays with your movement, your body speaks the language of connection fluently. Every small motion becomes a message as I'm here. I feel this. I feel you. And that's what amplifies desire, not technique, but attention. Because desire isn't just physical. It's emotional safety wrapped in awareness. When he feels your calm attention, he surrenders. Because for the first time, he doesn't have to perform either. He can just feel. That's how presence turns into passion. The power of intention and tension is the emotional signature behind everything you do. You can perform the same gesture 100 ways, but what changes everything is why you do it. When your touch carries genuine emotion, it transforms. It stops being an action and becomes communication. If your intention is curiosity, your touch invites. If it's reassurance, your touch soothes. If it's confidence, that your touch grounds. If it's desire, your touch awakens. That's why men remember how you made them feel, not what you physically did. Because emotion travels faster than thought. When you bring intention into your body, your energy becomes clear and clarity feels magnetic. You don't need to try harder. You just need to mean it. Men crave authenticity. They crave the difference between empty touch and intentional presence, between doing and being. So before you reach for him, pause. Ask yourself, what do I want him to feel right now? Safety, warmth, connection, excitement. Then breathe that emotion into your body, because intention radiates. It shows in your breathing, your eyes, your pace, your stillness. When your energy aligns with your purpose, your touch speaks louder than words ever could. This is how emotional intimacy deepens. It's not about what happens to him, it's what happens through you. You become the mirror that reflects calm, desire, and security all at once. That's what makes him feel not just wanted, but understood. And that's what keeps him coming back to you. Not just for how you look, but for how you make him feel inside himself. Because deep down, every man wants to be felt, not figured out, to be experienced, not analyzed, to be touched with emotion, not effort. When your intention carries heart, your energy becomes unforgettable. You stop trying to impress and start to express. That's the difference between touch that fades and touch that stays with him long after it's over. CHATR 3, the psychology of his skin, why men respond to slow touch. There's a reason why slowing down changes everything. When most women feel nervous or excited, they tend to move faster, talking faster, touching faster, trying to get it right. But men's nervous systems don't crave speed. They crave presence. When you move slowly, you're not just touching skin, you're triggering his brain chemistry. Fast touch releases dopamine, quick hits of pleasure that vanish almost as soon as they appear. But slow, intentional touch releases oxytocin, the bonding chemical. It calms his system, pulls him into the moment, and makes him feel emotionally connected before he even realizes it. That's why men can't forget the women who made them feel safe in the moment. It wasn't the technique, it was the pacing. Slowness says, I'm not in a rush. I'm enjoying this. You can relax. It sends a message of confidence, the kind that doesn't need to prove itself. Every pause builds anticipation. Every small movement draws his focus closer. And the beautiful secret, when you slow down, he mirrors you. Your calm becomes his calm. Your rhythm becomes his rhythm. It's not just about how you touch him. It's about how your energy trains his body to respond. Men live in a world that teaches them to perform, to control, to always be in motion. But when you slow things down, you invite him into stillness, and that's where true intimacy lives. It's not speed that makes something powerful. It's awareness. It's the way time stretches when two people decide to be there fully. So the next time you're close, remember, slow isn't hesitation. Slow is confidence. Slow is mastery. Slow is the rhythm of real connection. The science of subtle stimulation. There's a quiet art to touch that doesn't reveal itself right away. It's not about pressure or power. It's about suggestion. The human brain is wired to crave what it can't fully predict. That's why subtlety feels more electric than intensity, because mystery leaves room for imagination, and imagination is where real desire is born. When you use gentle, teasing contact, a brush of fingertips, a slow trace down the arm, a pause that feels like an invitation, you activate anticipation. His body leans forward before his mind can catch up. That's not manipulation, it's awareness. It's understanding that desire grows not from giving everything, but from revealing just enough. Think of it as music. If every note is loud, nothing stands out. But when you add silence, softness, and variation, the melody becomes alive. Touch works the same way. When you shift between closeness and pause, warmth and distance, you create a rhythm that keeps him tuned in. Subtle stimulation also wakes up emotional sensitivity. It tells him this isn't about performance, it's about connection. When your movements are gentle, his nervous system relaxes, and that's when he starts to feel. Because softness isn't weakness, it's power that doesn't need to shout. You're not trying to overwhelm his senses, you're teaching his body to listen, to notice, to respond. When a woman masters that balance, suggestion over certainty, curiosity over control, she becomes unforgettable, not because she tried harder, but because she understood the secret most never learn the mind ignites when it's invited, not conquered. So keep it light, keep it patient, keep it intentional. Let your energy whisper there's more where that came from, and he'll follow that feeling every time. Where he feels emotion, not just sensation. Every man has places on his body that are wired not just for sensation, but for emotion. And when you touch those places with awareness, something shifts. He stops reacting and starts feeling. It's not about intensity, it's about meaning. When you trace the side of his face, gently, like you're memorizing him, it awakens a sense of being seen. When your fingers rest on the back of his neck, steady, grounding, it tells him you're safe here. When your hands glide across his chest, you're not just touching muscle, you're touching the space where he hides his vulnerability. And when your hand lingers on his, or your thumb brushes his palm, you remind him that intimacy isn't always about taking. Sometimes it's about allowing. Most men aren't used to being touched with intention. They know physical touch, but emotional touch, that's rare. That's what makes it unforgettable. The key is to understand what these gestures communicate. Face, I see you.
Neck, I trust you.
Chest, I feel you. Our hands, we're connected. Touch becomes a language, one that says everything words can't. When you reach for him from that emotional place, he relaxes, his guard lowers, his breathing slows, because he's not just being touched, he's being understood. That's the moment he bonds, not just physically, but emotionally. He begins to feel safe enough to open. And when a man opens emotionally, that's when connection deepens beyond attraction into something that feels spiritual, magnetic, and grounding. So don't underestimate where your hands choose to go or the energy behind them, because the right touch with the right intention speaks directly to the part of him that's been waiting to be felt, not just touched. When your energy touches first the silent language of presence, before your hands ever meet his skin, your energy already has. Every glance, every pause, every breath, it all sends signals his subconscious can't ignore. Because men don't just respond to looks, they respond to energy. When you walk into a room, your energy speaks before you do. If you're anxious, he feels it. If you're calm, he softens. If you're open, he draws closer, even if he can't explain why. That's the silent conversation happening before a single word is spoken. Your presence tells him everything about how you see yourself. If you carry yourself like a woman who knows her worth, slow movements, gentle eyes, no rush, you project an energy that says, you're safe to come closer. This isn't about arrogance or performance. It's about ownership. You're not trying to be sexy. You're simply not hiding your power. Confidence isn't always loud. It can be the quiet certainty in your gaze, the pause before you speak, or the way you listen without needing to fill silence. That's what draws men in, not perfection, but presence.
Yes.
Presence says, I'm here, I'm not performing, I'm not proving, I'm simply being. When a woman radiates, that changes how a man behaves around her. He becomes more attentive, more careful, more open, because her energy gives him permission to drop his guard too. It's not a game, it's a frequency. And you control the dial. Before you even think of touch, remember your energy touches first. And when it's grounded, calm, and intentional, it tells him something powerful, that he's in the presence of a woman who knows herself. Eye contact, the most intimate touch. There's a way to look at someone that says everything without saying a word. When your eyes hold his, you're doing more than looking. You're letting him feel seen, not scanned, not evaluated, but felt. Eye contact is intimacy's first invitation. It's how your energy moves across space and lands on his nervous system. When you look at him with curiosity instead of expectation, he feels it instantly. It's disarming. He doesn't feel judged. He feels accepted. There's power in a gaze that lingers for just a moment longer than expected, not to dominate, not to seduce, but to communicate presence. You're saying, I see you, I'm here, and I'm not afraid to connect. Most people look without seeing. But when you focus softly, breathing slowly, eyes relaxed, you activate emotional trust, because the eyes are wired to detect authenticity. When you say, I'm comfortable, his body starts to mirror it. That's when tension begins, the good kind, not the tension of fear, but of curiosity. The unspoken question, what is this connection between us? You can use that moment to anchor him in awareness. Slow your breath, let your expression soften. This tells his body, stay, don't rush, there's more here. It's a form of touch that happens in silence. One look can send warmth through his system, not because of what he sees, but because of what he feels from you. And that's the secret. Most people miss eye contact is not about staring. It's about transmitting emotion. When your eyes communicate peace, curiosity, and confidence, he feels touched long before you ever lay a hand on him. The energy between words, what truly draws a man in isn't always what you say. It's the energy beneath your words. You could say the same sentence two ways and his body would react completely differently. It's not tone, it's transmission. Imagine saying, "I like that," with rushed excitement. Now imagine saying the same words slowly, softly, with presence. Same phrase, different meaning. One excites the mind, the other melts the nervous system. Your voice carries energy. When it's calm, it lowers his defenses. When it's intentional, it builds trust. When it's warm, it touches him emotionally. You don't need to perform sweetness or sensuality. You just need to mean what you say. Authenticity is what magnetizes, not volume, not perfection. Even your pauses matter. A pause invites him to feel what's happening rather than rush past it. And that's what most women forget, T. You don't have to fill silence for connection to grow. Sometimes your stillness is the connection. When you speak, focus not on impressing, but on aligning. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? And what do I want him to feel with me? That's how energy bridges two people, through emotional coherence. When your inner state is grounded, your outer energy feels magnetic. Men can sense the difference between a woman trying to say the right thing and one who simply embodies calm confidence. The latter doesn't chase, she attracts. So let your words breathe, let your pauses hum, let your tone carry warmth instead of weight, because real connection doesn't come from what you say, it comes from what he feels in the space between your words. Shiaptia Fiviv, building desire without touch, the power of emotional polarity. Desire doesn't come from constant closeness, it comes from contrast. Every strong attraction lives in polarity, warmth and distance, confidence and softness, giving and holding back. When those energies dance, desire builds naturally. Think of emotional polarity as a magnetic field between two people. If both energies feel the same, both neutral, both flat, the magnet loses its charge. But when one person holds calm certainty and the other feels drawn toward that steadiness, chemistry ignites. That's what happens when you balance openness with mystery. When you make eye contact but don't rush to fill silence, you create a pull. When you smile softly, then look away with confidence, you plant curiosity. When you speak with calm conviction but keep your tone relaxed, you project emotional leadership. Men are wired to feel energized by polarity, by a woman who's grounded in her own emotion yet unpredictable in expression. It keeps their attention alive, not because she's playing games, but because she embodies both comfort and challenge. Comfort makes him feel safe. Challenge makes him stay curious. Most people try to manufacture chemistry through constant attention, over-explaining, or physical closeness. But true chemistry comes from emotional rhythm, moments of connection followed by moments of space. When you give a man that balance, his nervous system stays engaged. He feels drawn to you, but never overwhelmed. He can't quite predict what you'll do next, and that mystery keeps his imagination awake. So remember, you don't have to chase closeness to deepen attraction. You just have to hold your emotional ground warm, calm, self-assured, and let polarity do the rest. Desire doesn't always start with touch. Sometimes it starts with energy that says, "I'm here, but you'll have to come closer to feel me." The psychology of anticipation is the heartbeat of attraction. It's what makes a moment feel alive, that quiet tension between what is and what might happen next. Psychologically, anticipation activates dopamine, the same chemical that fuels excitement, curiosity, and pleasure. When something feels uncertain, the brain stays alert, waiting for resolution. That's why restraint often feels more powerful than instant gratification. In relationships, anticipation builds through pacing. It's not about delay for the sake of control. It's about allowing emotion to rise naturally. When you pause mid-conversation, he listens closer. When you give a warm smile and shift your attention away, his mind follows you. When you're fully present but not over-available, you become a mystery worth exploring. This is why the best connections don't happen all at once. They unfold. The pauses, the space, the subtle cues, all of them create an emotional rhythm that keeps desire alive. Most people mistake excitement for intimacy, but real desire builds in quiet, in the spaces where words could be spoken but aren't. That's where imagination fills the gap. When a man begins to anticipate your next move, what you'll say, how you'll react, what you might mean, he's emotionally invested, and that investment is what turns attraction into longing. So don't rush the moments that feel slow. Let silence linger. Let curiosity breathe. Every beat of anticipation adds emotional texture to the connection, because what we wait for, we value, and what we can't predict, we remember. Emotional presence over physical proof. In a world obsessed with doing, the most magnetic thing you can offer is being. When you're emotionally present, truly grounded in the moment, people feel it. Your tone slows down, your breathing evens out, your attention sharpens, and suddenly every interaction feels more alive. Emotional presence is the quiet confidence of a woman who doesn't need to rush or prove. She listens, she notices, she responds, but she never chases. That's what creates emotional gravity. Men are drawn to that groundedness because it feels rare, it feels safe and intriguing at the same time. When you're fully present, you project trustworthiness. You're signaling, you can relax around me. I'm not performing. And that authenticity breaks through the noise of superficial connection. This doesn't mean being stoic or detached. Quite the opposite. It means allowing emotion, but not losing yourself in it. It's confidence mixed with empathy, control mixed with openness. Presence communicates, I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to experience you. And that subtle difference changes everything. Because desire isn't built by proving value. It's built by creating space for emotion to exist. You don't need to convince anyone to want you. You just need to be so grounded in your own awareness that your energy says, if you want to feel something real, stay right here. That's the ultimate paradox of attraction. The less you try to control it, the stronger it grows. Because people don't fall for effort, they fall for emotional presence. And that's how you build desire without a single touch. Shia PTR 6, the feminine magnetism blueprint, the energy that makes him lean in. There's a certain kind of woman who doesn't have to chase attention. She walks into a room quietly, yet the air seems to shift. People don't just see her, they feel her. What's her secret? It's not what she wears or how loud she speaks. It's her energy, calm, centered, and confident without effort. You can almost sense that she's not seeking approval. She's at peace with herself. And that peace becomes magnetic. Feminine magnetism starts long before words are spoken. It begins in the silence you carry, the stillness that tells the world you know who you are. This isn't about performance, it's about presence. When you slow down your pace, breathe deeper, and soften your attention, you create a kind of gravitational pull. Others feel drawn to your calm, not because you demand attention, but because you embody it. That's the first secret of attraction most people miss. The more you chase connection, the more it hides. The more you become grounded, the more it finds you. The art of emotional gravity. Think about the last time you met someone who made you feel instantly safe, as if you could be fully yourself. They probably weren't trying hard to impress. They simply made space for you to exist. That's what emotional gravity feels like. It's the invisible pull created by someone who is comfortable in their own emotions. For many women, attraction becomes confusing because they've been told to do more, smile more, talk more, try harder. But emotional gravity isn't built on effort, it's built on ease. When you can sit in silence without rushing to fill it, when you can listen deeply instead of reacting instantly, when you can hold eye contact with warmth rather than worry, you become unforgettable. This is not about being mysterious for attention, it's about being deeply present. Your calm tells him, I'm not here to prove my worth. I already know it. And that energy, unhurried, emotionally grounded, makes people want to come closer. The subtle touch of confidence isn't loud. It's not a pose or a line or a list of rules. It's a quiet trust in your own rhythm. When you move with intention, whether it's through your words, your gestures, or even your pauses, you communicate certainty. It's the subtle message. I don't need to rush. I don't need to compete. I belong here. That kind of confidence doesn't come from how others see you. It comes from how you see yourself. You become magnetic when you stop performing and start allowing. Every small moment, your laughter, your tone, your timing becomes more powerful when it comes from genuine emotion instead of self-consciousness. And the more you relax into yourself, the more others can relax around you. That's the paradox of magnetism. The less you try to be impressive, the more impressive you become. The magnetic body language your body speaks long before you do. The way you stand, the pace of your breath, even the way your eyes move, all of it communicates energy. Magnetic body language isn't about being perfect, it's about being aligned. When your posture opens, shoulders relaxed, heart lifted, you signal confidence and emotional availability. When your movements slow down, they carry intention. When you maintain soft eye contact, It shows presence instead of pressure. One of the strongest nonverbal cues of attraction is stillness. When you stop fidgeting, stop rushing, and simply be. The other person feels your attention like warmth. It tells them you're fully there, not scattered between past and future. Your presence becomes a form of connection, not through touch, not through words, but through the feeling that says, you're safe here. The quiet power of feminine presence, true magnetism, is not built in the spotlight. It's built in quiet confidence. It's what remains when you've stopped trying to be perfect and started allowing yourself to be real. Every time you soften your edges instead of hardening your defenses, every time you speak from honesty instead of strategy, every time you breathe through your anxiety and show up anyway, you strengthen your presence. The feminine energy that captivates isn't about control, it's about flow. It's how you listen, how you care, how you hold yourself in uncertain moments. You don't need to be the loudest in the room. You just need to feel at home within yourself, because the moment you do, others feel it too. Feminine magnetism is emotional intelligence in motion. It's self-respect that doesn't need to shout. It's softness that feels like strength. When you embody this kind of presence, connection becomes effortless. People remember how you made them feel calm, seen, and alive. And that, more than anything else, is what makes you unforgettable. Magnetism isn't about learning new tricks. It's about unlearning the need to prove yourself. You don't attract through perfection. You attract through authenticity. When your energy says, I'm comfortable in my skin, the world mirrors that back to you. So breathe slower, speak softer, listen deeper. Let the confidence you feel within guide everything you express. That's the art of making someone feel you, not through effort, but through emotional truth. That's the quiet, graceful power of feminine magnetism. Take a slow breath. Everything you've just heard wasn't about changing who you are. It was about coming home to what's always been there. Feminine magnetism isn't a technique or a list of tricks. It's an energy that grows when you stop rushing, stop comparing, and start listening to your own rhythm. Every pause you allow, every moment you breathe before you speak, every time you choose grace over pressure, that's you stepping into your quiet power. Most people believe attraction comes from doing more, proving more, or performing harder. But the truth is simpler and more freeing. You don't need to chase anyone's attention. You don't need to earn connection. You create it naturally. Every time you show up as your grounded, genuine self. If there's one message to carry with you after this video, it's this: you are magnetic when you are aligned, not when you are perfect. The world doesn't remember how polished you looked. It remembers how safe, warm, and alive it felt to be near you. And that comes from authenticity, the quiet confidence of knowing you are enough. So the next time you walk into a room, hold yourself the way you want to be remembered. Lift your chin not from pride, but from peace. Speak with intention, not reaction. Listen with patience, not fear. And when you offer your attention, offer it fully, because presence is the most powerful signal of confidence you can ever send. As you practice this, notice how people respond differently. Conversations become easier. Energy feels lighter. You won't need to ask for respect or attention. They'll sense it from the way you carry yourself. That's what this entire blueprint has been about, learning to be felt without forcing it. If this message spoke to you, take a moment before you move on. Ask yourself quietly, how can I honor my own energy more often? Maybe it's through setting a boundary. Maybe it's slowing down your day. Maybe it's simply choosing calm over chaos. Each time you do, you strengthen that invisible field around you, the one that says, I know my worth, and I stand in it gently. And that's what draws healthy love, friendship, and opportunity towards you, not through chase, but through presence. Now, if you're ready to keep growing this energy, stay connected here, because every week we share more tools and reflections that help you master emotional intelligence, relationship balance, and personal confidence in ways that actually feel natural. This space is designed for women who want to feel powerful without pretending, sensual without shame, confident without conflict. If that sounds like you, hit subscribe right now. It costs nothing, but it tells YouTube that this kind of grounded, emotionally intelligent content matters, and it keeps it coming to your feed. And when you do, don't just subscribe, join the conversation. Drop a comment below and share one insight from today that you want to carry into your real life. Maybe it's a reminder to slow down. Maybe it's the idea that calm is magnetic, or maybe it's simply the decision to stop chasing and start allowing. Write it down. Because when you put something into words, you anchor it into action. Before you go, remember every woman carries this power within her. The question isn't whether you have it, it's whether you trust it enough to use it. So as you step back into your world today, take this with you. Let your calm speak louder than your effort. Let your presence feel more powerful than your performance. And let your energy say what words never could, that you are here, whole and radiant exactly as you are. If you found peace or strength in this message, help someone else feel it too. Share this video with a friend who might need the same reminder. You never know whose confidence you might reawaken just by passing it on. And if you want to go deeper into this work, learning how to strengthen your self-worth, master emotional connection, and build real chemistry rooted in respect, explore the next video linked on your screen. It's a natural continuation of this journey where we dive into how presence transforms communication and connection in everyday life. Take your time with it. Let every idea sink in. And as you do, they watch how your world quietly begins to shift. Because once you start embodying this energy, people can't help but respond to it. You don't need to be louder. You don't need to chase. You simply need to be. That is your blueprint. That is your magnetism. And that right there is your power. Now breathe it in and carry it with you.